Hey there, thank you for joining me for episode 5 of YQG in Bloom. I'm your host, Tracy Martins. Since it's the beginning of a new year, I thought we were going to start things off a little differently, and I have 3 ladies here with me today, and we're going to talk about health and wellness. We wanted to cover some of the basics so that we could start off 2023 in shape. With me, I have Donna Rivard from Wellness by the Water.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi. And Jennifer Lang from Usana Health Sciences.
Hi.
And Adriana Rajewski from Enlightened Yoga.
Hello.
Hi. Now, I know most people have a ton of New Year's resolutions, and we have decided that we don't like that word anymore. Resolutions has got to stop. Adriana has a really great idea that we're going to start calling it New Year's intentions so that we aren't self-sabotaging. Adriana, can you tell me what made you come up with this idea?
So I thought about it actually a few years ago. I kind of rebelled against it because I just noticed how people reacted in their bodies, and like the body language was just not at par with what a resolution is meant to be.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of digging, and statistically speaking, there is only about 9 to 12% of people that actually keep their resolutions, like they accomplish them. And I thought, well, we want to live our lives intentionally without putting a time limit on a life goal such as health. So one needs to look at what these intentions are, and perhaps create a theme for the year. So if you create a theme, like for example, for myself, a theme for this year is self-care. Mm-hmm. And I know that everybody speaks about self-care. It's not a new word, it's not a new concept, but for me, I needed to devise a plan. Mm-hmm. So for this year, I intend to spend more time with myself, tending to those moments when I am run down and need a break. Mm-hmm. And basically you write down then, what does that look like? What does that look like for you? And you get a plan, you define it. Another one was I intend to take a break when I need it without any guilt or reservation, which I think that is a common denominator between a lot of women. And again, what does that look like for me? And then define it. Mm-hmm. So defining our intentional theme and its components is key to success, in my opinion.
Thank you so much, Adriana. I really appreciate that. And Donna, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell us all what your business, Wellness by the Water, is?
Sure thing. Thanks, Tracy. Well, I am a registered holistic nutritionist. So what that means is I work with people in improving their nutritional habits, and hopefully that will improve their health. Wellness by the Water is an online program that I offer group programs, one-on-one, customized programs. I work with people who have just basic health issues all the way up to, people that have major health issues. But I work with people mainly who want to change and improve their health. My goal is to reintroduce real food to people, get them cooking again in the kitchen with their families, eating real healthy food.
And do you offer menu options? Well?
With all of my programs that I do offer, it comes with full meal plans.
Okay, excellent.
And on my website, which I know we'll talk about in a little bit, but I can offer 7-day, 21 days. I run monthly real food group programs as well as customized meal plans as well.
Oh, a little bit for everybody.
Exactly.
Excellent. And how about you, Jennifer? Tell us how you ended up being a consultant for Usana.
Okay, it'd be my pleasure to do that. So my love affair with Usana has lasted, I'm spanning 3 decades now. So I was in my late teens when I was first approached about trying the Usana Health Sciences products. It was a loving family member that approached me. And much like teenagers, we're all moms. We often resist what is being recommended to us when we're at that age because we know everything about everything. And I was reluctant to try the products only because everything else I had tried up until that point did little to improve my circumstance. So having a loving family member who approached me, the Usana products are not sold in stores. They're sold through direct sales. So I'm an independent representative with Usana. So to be educated, to learn about the products, you have to be approached by someone like me. So you can't just walk into a health food store and buy our products. They're all sold through independent representatives like myself.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It has a little bit for everybody. It's a huge variety. It's not just the vitamins and the minerals. You also offer...
We have a very wide range of products. I believe there's over 80 different products available in Canada, ranging from supplements. We have great food programs to also assist in healthy eating. We have personal care products as well as some great skincare products that also include our vitamin formulas and transdermal applications.
And you guys have face masks too, don't you?
We do.
I actually got a little gift bag from somebody that sold Usana, and I was shocked when I opened it up and there was a mask. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize you guys had face masks.
We have something for everyone.
That's great. And Adriana, you are the owner and operator of Enlightened Yoga?
Yes, I am. So, yes, I am the owner of Enlightened Yoga and also the creator of Enlightened Yoga online programs. I have over 25 years of experience as a yoga teacher in various types of yoga and techniques. I am a structural yoga therapist, a Thai yoga massage therapist, and also a myofascial release therapist. Basically, my goal is to provide a healing experience to each and every one of my clients, whether it is in person or through my online programs. And to create a space, no matter where you are in your life, where you are physically, to be able to participate in a program that really jives with your life. So doing as much as possible, whenever possible type of a thing. And all of this can be done through my online platform. Enlightened Yoga Online provides various programs that are creatively designed and formulated to uniquely meet each individual's needs. So no matter where you are in life, what your level is, whether you are a complete beginner, whether you are an avid yogi, a sweat enthusiast, a cardio craze fanatic, even if you are in your 50s, 60s, and 70s, and even 80s, you can absolutely participate in my online yoga programs.
And do you have starter plans for us couch potatoes?
I do, absolutely 100%. And you are never left alone, by the way. I am always there to help you to navigate through the site, especially for the first 3 months. It's my plan really is to be in everyone's household, everybody's household on everybody's iPad, helping one person, one by one to achieve their goals in health and wellness and movement.
That's great. And I think having these 3 women here, that'll give us what we need to start off the new year with greater intentions. Now, I wanted to throw out the first question to you, Donna, because Wellness by the Water, you take care of everything. It's a whole body concept between the vitamins and nutritional supplements, as well as eating healthy and movement. I want us to start off with baby steps because everything just seems so overwhelming. So where's the best way to start?
Well, that's a very good question, Tracy. And I think for a lot of people, it may look a little different. But in my opinion, nutrition is the root to most, if not all, health issues currently. Someone who exercises well or even takes good nutrition or supplements, but has really bad nutrition, they're kind of defeating the whole purpose in my eyes. So eating real food. So a way for people to start, I would think, is to possibly eliminate some processed foods. I mean, that's I think an easy way for people to start getting back into the kitchen, especially all these families. I mean, sitting and getting the kids involved, cooking real food, which is a lot of things that I promote, a real food program, which means eating real food, which isn't processed box food. It's stuff that you're going to, fruits, vegetables, good proteins, good fats.
For somebody like me that does not eat properly, and I will tend to eat until I am overly full, how could we get somebody to start eating and making better choices? Is it proper foods, cutting out foods, portion control? Where should somebody start?
Well, it depends if they're going to start on their own, then I would definitely suggest that they start being very aware of when they're eating and what they're eating. People have to be a little bit more conscious as to keeping their body in a relaxed state when they eat. I find a lot of people are rushed. So you're eating when you're very distracted, which is what we call your body's in a sympathetic mode, which is called fight and flight. I won't get into a lot of details, but you want your body in a more relaxed state when you eat. So the first thing, and whether you're eating garbage or whether you're eating good food, please keep your cell phones away, keep the TV off, get away from your desk, stop eating in a car. Just sit and enjoy your food. And take your time while you're eating your food and enjoy the bites while you're eating. Now, I prefer people not to eat the garbage and to, cook some food and, try to look at your plate and have maybe 60% of that plate should be filled with more fruits and vegetables, highly more vegetables, and, and then a protein and a good fat. It's best to always eat a protein, a fat, and a carb together. If people aren't sure what those are, they can check out my website and get back to me on that. But you want to make sure, so even on snacks, on meals, make sure you're having a protein, a fat, and a carb together. Your whole body works better at processing that. You're in a relaxed state. You'll definitely digest your food a lot better. So the other thing, if people want to join my programs, then the meal plans help. And I really find having a meal plan, a lot of people say, well, I can go onto Pinterest and I can get all these recipes, and you by all means can. But with my plans, you're actually getting 5 to 7 day meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner with 2 snacks. You're getting a full, so you get the full recipe, you'll get a grocery list. If you need to adapt the plan, so let's say maybe you don't like what I've got for lunch or whatever that day, you can swap something out. It'll automatically adjust the grocery list. So this way, you know exactly what you're eating, so there's no thinking about it. So you don't have to, wonder about rushing off and, stopping at McDonald's on the way home because you don't know what you're going to be preparing for dinner. So planning is always best as well. Make your Sundays, write down a plan, what you're going to make, do some prepping, and have things available that are quick and easy.
Definitely something I need to start doing is doing the meal prep. I always plan on it, and it never quite happens.
I know. I mean, life is so busy, and that is one thing, I think all of us, again, we've talked before about it. Life is busy, and, adding something to it, to wanting to know what you're going to eat every day, and planning for the family, and having maybe picky kids, and cooking and things like that. It's stressful, or it can be stressful. So I do think that having a full meal plan like I offer, it helps on the budget as well, because you're going to the grocery store with a list in front of you, knowing exactly what you're going to buy, so you're not picking and choosing what you have to possibly need at home, because you've already got the list in front of you.
Excellent. And then, like you said, we can work on our vitamins and our nutrition as well, digestion. And that's where I have my Jennifer here to tell us all about the Usana, which I use. I use myself. I use the probiotics, and I found a huge difference. I've tried a few of the other store brands, the name brands, and this is my second month on it, and we noticed a difference within the first week.
That's great to hear. Always love to hear that feedback. So to continue on a little bit more about what Donna was talking about, I always tell my clients there is no substitute for eating well. That is absolutely the foundation for optimal health. I don't tell people, hey, you can eat all the bad food you want. If you take our supplements, it's a substitute. There is no substitute for eating healthy. Yeah. Now, where we come in is to help with any potential deficiencies that may be in the diet. Everybody has great intentions of eating well and eating healthy. I know myself, I have some improvements to make in those areas as well. And I've known Donna a long time, and she's always been a really great resource for me as well.
Well, it's the holidays. None of us were really eating that well.
The season of indulgence has just gone by.
And
so
overeating.
I know I need to recommit to my own program, and that includes movement and eating better. And I've been taking my supplements daily now for, it'll be 25 years this year. And I started taking them when I didn't even really think I needed them. But having had direction from my aunt, who is an avid researcher, she was sending me articles about the status of the health of people here in Windsor, Essex. And those articles were from 20 years ago saying, people in our general area need to take, a more proactive approach to their health. So eating well is the foundation. And as we know, when you're building a house, the foundation is really important, and then you build on that foundation, and that's where taking high quality supplements come in. And I always recommend people start with our foundation product, which is our multivitamin. It's our 30-year flagship product. It's been reformulated a few times over the course of the last 3 decades. This is actually the adult formula, so there's an antioxidant and a mineral. We have the prenatal supplements, as well as a teenage multivitamin. So there's a big gap in the market to satisfy that generation of people. We know adults take supplements and children take supplements, but there's a deficiency in the market out there to serve
and they're the ones
teenagers.
That need it.
Absolutely, and they eat horrible on a good day generally. So.
Well, and not just that, they're growing, they have the hormones, they need.
Absolutely. And taking a high quality multivitamin, not all supplements are created equal. I've used a really great resource, which is a third party publication that has over 1,600 different multivitamins that are available on the market. So most people are quite surprised to see how very popular brands compare not only to what they're currently taking, but to what Usana has to offer as well. And there's over 4,000 Olympic and elite athletes that trust their health to Usana as well. Many of those partnerships have been in place for a decade or more.
And then if people have questions, they can contact you. Now, I had a Zoom call with Jennifer when I wasn't sure what to start with. I've never heard a person that is trying to help you out and also sell your product go, You already have stuff. Don't throw it out. Finish that first, and then we'll talk about that.
I always encourage people to, take a look at what they have. I can show them how it compares to what we have to offer. But by the same token, I meet people where they are. Even though we recommend you start here, we have several individual nutrients. Lots of people are starting to take vitamin D. We have a separate standalone product for that. We have a great fish oil. We have several optimizers that are used to design to enhance the core multivitamin products. So if that's not where somebody wants to start, I meet them where they are. I discuss what their goals are and see what I can do to be of service to them.
You guys also do have your nutritional shakes for people on the go. It's a great way to eat healthy, air quotes on the eat, healthy in the morning or even at night, because it's all natural ingredients, it's all healthy, and they really do taste great. We have the chocolate at home, and in the morning I'll add some spinach and some fruit to it, and it keeps you full. It's the first one that I found that actually does help you tide over until your lunch or dinner or whatever meal's next.
That's great. The key is the low glycemic ingredients that they use. So when you don't spike your blood sugar, you have a more sustained energy, so you don't have the spikes and the crashes that most people are used to. So I have my own personal experience with the Usana foods as well. I've used them on a daily basis for many, many years, but I also used them as part of my weight loss program a few years ago as well. So when I'm speaking to people about weight loss or supplements, I do come from a place of integrity. I don't expect anyone to do something that I'm not physically doing myself. Maybe not to the same level, but I put my money where my mouth is, and I lead by example. And that's always kind of been how I've run my business, is what you see is what you get. And I'm as real as they come. And I always like to help people have an improved circumstance wherever they're at in their lives. If they've never taken supplements, if they're, avid supplement takers, I service all comers, I guess you could say, and help people start, simple. And then you can build on that foundation after.
Thank you so much, Jen.
My pleasure.
And to finish our triangle of wellness here, we have Adriana. Now, for people like me that classify walking the dog as exercise, what can we do more to increase our movement and our mobility to help our joints and overall wellness?
So first of all, walking your dog is definitely an incredible way to get your exercise in. But if we're talking about bringing strengthening and flexibility aspect, if we're talking about balancing the energies within the body, I think that one of the phrases that I keep listening and hearing here at the table is that we don't want to overwhelm, that we want to take baby steps. And that is really truly my advice to people. Don't rush into this overwhelmed and pack your schedule full of stuff to do, which is exactly what people do with resolutions. It's they pack everything into this crazy schedule and then they die off because it's not sustainable. You can't sustain it. So truly my advice is that you take things one step at a time. It just takes that first step, that one step. So for example, when I have a consultation with a new client and they are going to start on my Enlightened Yoga program, we have a consultation, we figure out what their needs are, and I devise and structure a plan based to their sleeping habits, their eating habits, how much exercise they are doing, whether they've been not exercising at all, this is like the first time that they're going to start exercising, or people that have just stayed away from exercise for a while and now are coming back to it. So say, for example, that on your program, I write out that first week, I'll write you one class. And I'll say to you, okay, so do this one class 3 times a week. That's it. 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Now, here's what happens. Okay?
It's too hard.
No, it's so easy, because the first time that you actually do that class, you're going to be like a baby who's just learning to walk. You're going to be unsure of yourself. You're going to do things a little bit funny. You're not going to be in like your moment, okay? So the second time that you do the class, you're going to be like, oh, okay, wait a minute. I know what she's going to do here. I know what she says here. I got this. I can do this. The third class that you do, so the same class, we're not overwhelming, baby steps. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to give this 110% today. And I know what Adriana is going to ask of me, and it's going to be awesome. And I'm going to even push it harder, because you already know what is coming. Now, what's happening is that in that moment, all of your beautiful hormones are starting to light up. So you have your endorphins, your dopamine, everything is just starting to come out. And next thing you know, you're more excited. Your serotonin, your everything. Everything is like this musical, beautiful orchestra of rah, 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 we're rooting for you. That's your hormones. So you're coming out of it feeling stronger. You're feeling better about yourself, better about the fact that you've accomplished something, and you have taken a very tiny step. And it's not overwhelming, because it's just one class, 3 times a week. That's it. It's so easy.
Yeah, and then just your normal everyday on top
walk.
of it.
Oh my gosh. My son and I.
Walking.
Yes. So my son and I, London, we have dance offs. And because he loves dancing and I love dancing, my background's in dance. And we will literally crank up the music and we will dance for 10, 15 minutes straight after we have food, after meals, which what it does too is that it regulates your insulin levels that we were talking about. And, so that alone, just incorporate movement into your life. It doesn't have to be something very structured, but get creative.
Yeah. I'm lucky. Our dog has started this thing. As soon as I'm done eating, she just starts looking at me and looking at the door and pacing back and forth. It's like, okay, I guess I'm not allowed to lay down after I eat. I have to get up and walk, which is very, very helpful, because then I'm not sedentary as much. Okay. I also want to ask you, what is myofascial?
Myofascia.
Myofascia.
No, that's okay. The fascial system in your body is like this incredibly intelligent system that intertwines itself through every single part of your body. It's your connective tissue, really. But we do have the 3 components of that fascial structure, and it's your superficial fascia, which is just underneath your skin. It is basically that which attaches your skin, adheres your skin to the muscle, so that your muscle, a particular muscle, doesn't slide over and go somewhere else. Okay, that's a very funny way of saying it, but you get my drift. Your myofascial system is the middleman, and that component, to me, is the most interesting. Well, first of all, it surrounds each and every muscle. So it separates, for example, your bicep from your tricep. But also what it does is that it separates each and every muscle fiber. So if you were to look through a microscope at muscle fibers, you would see that they kind of look like an eye. They're sort of shaped in that way. And that collagenous structure around each and every fiber, that's the myofascial component. So your fascial system is literally made up of collagen, elastin, and water. That's it. That's what brings this elasticity into the whole entire body, into your system. Now, the third component is the microtubules of the fascial system within the walls of each and every cell. What is important, and I think very fascinating about it, is that you can exercise as much as you want to. You can eat as many great, vitamins and all of that beautiful stuff, supplements, as you want to. You can eat as much healthy food as you want to. But if your fascial system is not properly functioning. And the way that we get it to function properly, well, one thing at a time, if it's not properly functioning, then the nutrients that are meant to be absorbed by our body, our organs, our blood, you're not going to get what you need out of your nutrients, out of your vitamins, out of everything that helps to sustain life if your fascial system is too tight, it's too adherent to other components.
Now, how do we loosen it up?
Wonderful question. So actually, there's a very specific method of stretching out the fascia. It's very different from an active stretch. So a fascial stretch, which is something that I also teach through my programs online, it's very particular because it's where you have to feel into, it's a very slow stretch. You have to visualize almost like an elastic band stretching slowly. If an elastic band is very tight, and if you were to pull on it with too much power, then this elastic band would tear. But if you add the time component to it, and you actually become very aware of how you're stretching out that certain part of your body, then what you're doing is you're feeling into the muscle, you're feeling into the fascial tissue, the connective tissue, and you're slowly stretching to what I call an end range. It means that once you feel like you've stretched to that point where it feels like, okay, I can't really go any further unless I push myself to do it, okay? If you just back a tiny little bit away from that end range, then you are not in an active stretch, you're in a passive stretch. And it's the passive stretch that taps into the fascial component.
I had no idea that actually not going as hard as what you should is good.
Well, you can,
a little bit.
you can, but then you're doing you're doing it for a very different reason.
Right, but the not
To
pushing
stretch.
yourself, just a good stretch is actually helpful.
Yes, to
Which is
promote
awesome.
health and to promote the fluidity and the elasticity within the fascial system. It is recommended that you just take your time and you really feel into the stretches and you feel into the opposition. So you would, for example, have a point of concentration. If I'm trying to stretch out my, let's say my hamstring, the back of my legs, let's just say the back of my leg, I would focus on a point of concentration, which is, for example, the back of your knee. And then I would properly activate through the calf down into my heel, pressing down. Now, if you can imagine this. And then from the point of concentration, which is your knee, the back of your knee, I would then start to bring the elasticity up, so stretch up into the back of your hip. Or the back of your bottom, so technically the obturator muscle. And so what you're doing then is you're creating a duality. You're creating a two-part stretch, and that is that fascial component.
That sounds amazing.
I know.
I'm definitely going to
Learn something new every day.
I really want to go have a stretch right now.
It's changed my life. It's changed my clients' lives. It's just definitely, and especially as we age, sorry if I may add.
No, you're good.
Especially as we age, especially as you know, I'm going to speak about women, but men obviously as well too. You know, once we reach 40 and onward from there, this goes for men and women. We have to start looking at exercise in a very different light. With the things that we were able to do in our 20s, we can no longer do, or if we did, there's going to be, well, it's not going to look the greatest. In our 30s as well, you know, we have to meet each other where we're at, like Jen said, actually. And, you know, go from there, like apply exercise, apply nutrition, apply supplementation where you're at in life, like really dig deep and find out, What do I need right now? What does my body need right now? Why push and force when all you have to do is just pay attention and listen?
That's perfect, because what we do is we end up giving ourselves more anxiety when we're thinking about eating right and the right nutrition and supplements that we need and overdoing the exercise. A lot of people don't think that baby steps, you can start off with just eating slower and taking your multivitamins and doing a few stretches and a walk, and you're starting. Now, I did want to ask you, when we were talking the other day, you were talking about mental health and anxiety and stress hormones. How does eating properly help those?
Well, it goes back to what I had said earlier. When you're eating in a stressed a stressed state, you're raising your cortisol levels up, which is affecting hormonal levels, which is just getting your whole body in a state of disarray, so to speak. So when you're eating healthy and you're actually putting the right nutrients in your body, you're going to feel better. And when you feel better and you look better, life is going to be better. You'll have better sleep. You'll have better skin, overall better health.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask you is, because you eat healthier than anybody I know. How do you eat your pain? If you're having one of those really bad days and it's like, I want a sad cookie, I want a whole box of the Costco cookies, how do you do it?
I don't have them in my house.
No, well, what healthy food helps you when you want to eat your pain?
I have to be honest, I'm not a stress eater, which a lot of people are, but I can honestly say I'm not a stress eater. But I would suggest people to have healthy options available. If you don't have it in your house, you're not going to eat it. Chances are, when you come home after that long day and you're stressed out, if you've got things planned and you have, food ready and available to eat, you're not going to eat the bad stuff, even if you really want to, because you're not going to have it. I mean, if you stop on the way and you grab that chocolate bar or whatever it is, chances are you are going to eat it, and there's probably a good possibility you're not going to feel as good as you thought you were going to feel after you do eat it. So I encourage people, again, I don't like to use the restriction word that, we're going to restrict your diet and you can't have this and you can't have that, because as soon as you start telling that to people, exactly. So I suggest, if it is, chocolate chip cookies that is your kind of go-to kind of deal, then have a chocolate chip cookie once in a while. I mean, don't eat the whole box, though. It comes down to portion control, right? I mean, if you're that bag of chip person, buy the little bags instead of the big bags. So when you're sitting, because I think a lot of people, once you eat one chip, you're going to eat the whole bag, right?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
So have a little bag. I know I've struggled with anxiety attacks a few years ago, so I feel for people who are actually going through that. But I will suggest that your diet, proper supplementation, and movement will definitely help. And self-care, where Adriana was talking about at the beginning. Your body is having that reaction because it's telling you something. It's telling you it's time to slow down. It's time to stop and take a better look at things. I know it's not as easy as that because, again, trust me, I have been through 2 major panic attacks. And it's not so easy for people to say, just breathe, just calm down, you're gonna be okay, because at that moment you do not feel okay. But you can learn techniques to get through it. Yoga and breathing, meditating, journaling. There are so many great options out there for people who are fighting anxiety and depression. So I suggest everyone to, of course, consult a doctor for sure, but self-care, take care of yourself.
I honestly think, I know nobody wants to talk about the last couple of years and COVID, but that is the one thing that did come out of it, is it helped people step back and, maybe relax a little bit more, or they had the time for self-care.
Well, I think it's actually twofold, because I think in some regards, the COVID episode or years was a more stressful time for a lot of people.
Yes.
So I know different people have handled it in different ways, prioritizing ourselves, our family, looking at what's really important in life, learning to turn off the computers, working from home for a lot of people, I think opened the door that people were working, when they worked in the office, they left the office at the office. When they moved that then into their homes over the last few years, it stayed in their homes much longer past the quitting time, or because you had the option or a little bit more freedom at home, you then felt obligated to, check your emails more and to work longer and sometimes harder, because you wanted to prove that you could do it at home, right? You didn't want your company that you were working for thinking that you weren't working at home. So people, we need to all just get our own perspective of what's important and focus on ourselves, and again, eat healthy.
Definitely. And I did want to ask you, Jen, is with us not eating properly and not taking care of myself properly, a lot of people that are in the same situation as me have gut issues. And the gut health, I know that can take you down. Now, I did say at the very beginning that I did have the Usana probiotics. Can you let us know what other products I know you have for good gut health?
For good gut health, well, Usana is looking to be a major worldwide leader in gut health in the upcoming years. So it's a very good place to start. 80% of our immune cells are in our gut. And if your gut's not happy, nobody's happy. But highlighting a few things that Donna said just recently, when you're looking to make lifestyle changes and make new strides to improve your health, not having the bad options in the house made a huge difference for me, because I also reevaluated my relationship with food. Because when you eat when you're not hungry, is it an emotional trigger or is it something you saw on the television? But overall, not having bad options. If you have the good options and they're readily available, Usana has lots of grab and go format, shakes, bars, all of those things. It makes it a lot harder to make the bad choices when the good choices are readily available. So from a personal standpoint, that is something that really helped me making better choices, is when the bad choices aren't around. So I just wanted to give you that kudos and just say that is absolutely true. Yes. But in terms of my journey, I guess, with gut health, I've had digestive issues for most of my life. Most of the women in my family, very similar, my mom, my sister. And I learned through eating better, slower, chewing my food. I used to be the first person to sit, or the last person to sit down and the first person to be done. I didn't chew very well, eating on the go, you're stressed, you're not composed. So, digestion begins in the mouth. And my background is in dentistry. I was a dental assistant. That's what I went to school for way back when. And so my passion for prevention started many, many years ago. And in dentistry, they they have the slogan, only floss the teeth that you want to keep, right? And it's, usually people laugh, but it's very true. Mm-hmm. And from a gut perspective for me, I also take our digestive enzymes. Those have helped me a lot, especially during the indulgent season where there's lots of rich foods. And anybody at the table love cheese?
Is there a meal that doesn't have cheese?
Yeah, that doesn't have cheese in it. But we also have a great fiber supplement, because 9 out of 10 people don't get enough fiber in their diets as well. So it's a very well-rounded approach to gut health. It's not one specific component, but the probiotics are definitely a product that I won't live without now. And it took me several years to warm up to the idea of taking probiotics, but since I've started and had good results myself, it's a multifaceted approach, but definitely chewing, slowing down, making better choices, that helps digestion as well, making lifestyle changes, and just knowing, what foods maybe don't agree with you. And, as you get older, all the things that used to happen naturally, we have to help along manually. So that's like using skincare and doing, different things. Like Adriana said, what we could do in our 20s is not necessarily, you can't always keep up that longevity. So we have to switch gears as we get older and pay closer attention to our health overall. And gut health is a big part of that.
Perfectly said. And then I could keep going back and forth between you guys, because then you're talking about your gut health and eating properly. Well, then you need your movement in order to help everything digest and move properly.
We all work together. Everything we offer is we're like a big puzzle, and all of the pieces that we make out the puzzle, but there's even more.
Yeah.
Sleeping, there's so many facets to overall health that we're only scratching the surface tonight.
Oh, for sure. We're getting ready to be done just this segment, because I do want to have these ladies back probably around the beginning of March to check in and to see how people have been doing with their baby steps and maybe moving to the next level, or resetting it and saying it's okay if you didn't get it right the first time. It's still the winter. And so Donna, if you could tell us your website again.
Sure. I can be reached at www.wellnessbythewater.com. I am on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Oh, that's great. And Jen?
My website is Jen with 2 N's, Lang, lang.usana.com. That is my main website. I am getting better at doing social media. I have to say that is one of my intentions for 2023, is to become more active on social media. But I do have a Facebook account, Instagram I'm not using quite like I should, but I will be. And I'm also on LinkedIn as well.
Adriana?
So my website is enlightenedyoga.ca. And it's so funny, for a moment I was like, wait a minute, is it CA or .com? No, it's enlightenedyoga.ca. And I can also be found on Instagram, Adriana, Rajewski. And then also on Facebook, Enlightened Yoga.
And I will have all of these links in the description, whether you watch it on YouTube or listen to the podcast. But it's really fascinating. I said it at the beginning that it was a triangle, but realistically, it's just a circle going around and around and around. And like a car and a tire, if one of those pieces aren't working, you're going to end up with a flat tire. So let's just do our baby steps and start eating a little bit better, slower, maybe look into what supplements that can help us out. Or if we are just too busy to make huge meals, then we always do have our shakes and smoothies. Mm-hmm. Donna offers amazing smoothie recipes. I love them. And if you do buy the Usana, their smoothies, which I do, I add in extras, so it's a whole meal. And get out and walk and do some stretches and get in touch with Adriana and learn how that we can get better.
Stretch out the fascial system.
That's right. Okay, and before I end this, does anybody have any final remarks?
I'd like to share with our listeners, as you approach any new plan, remember to be patient with yourself, be forgiving. Lifestyle changes take time. If you look at where you are in your life now, it took you time to get to where you are. It's going to take time to help reverse some of the things that have happened. So be patient with yourself, be forgiving. There is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs.
Good one, Jen. And I just want to do a little testimonial. I have taken Usana products for 15
At least
plus
15,
years,
yeah.
I think, with Jen. So highly recommend Usana. I use the protein powder quite a bit in a lot of my smoothies. I do recommend adding protein to your smoothies. And Adriana and I have also been in contact for, I would say, about the same amount of time. I think Jen and Adriana kind of came into my life around the same time. And I do Adriana's program. We've been very involved in collaborating with a new program that we're actually working together on. So check that out on my website or Adriana's website. And I want to thank Tracy for having us on this call. It's been great. I mean, it's been like a little afternoon kind of chit chat that we've had with the girls. So
I have one thing that I'd like to share, and I think, Donna, you should use it. So I heard this saying once, and it's, your stomach doesn't have teeth, so you should really chew your food.
I like that.
And
That's a good one.
I like that.
There's actually, so I looked into what does chewing your food mean? Like, what does it mean? Like, how long am I supposed to chew my food for? And it is said that you're supposed to chew your food anywhere from 25 to 30 times before you actually swallow it. Now, it becomes a meditation. And at one point, I was so good at it that everybody around me was always done all of their food, and I would still be chewing on it because I had to count it. So I would be like, nom, 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 like chewing it for like 25 to 30 times. And I have gotten away from it, but I love that saying. Your stomach doesn't have teeth.
That's right.
it's a good one.
That is a good one.
Good ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have this whole visual now of your stomach with teeth, and there are no teeth down there. So absolutely.
That was great. And again, I'd love to thank these wonderful ladies for being with me today and helping us with our baby steps. I've learned so much about our health, our wellness, the circle that we really need to be in. And I am going to go home tonight and I'm going to write out my intentions on where I'm going to be this year and what I want to change. I have a few ideas. And hopefully I'm going to have these ladies back in March and we can see where everybody is in their baby steps, whether we've stayed on track, our intentions are still with us, and if we're good, we're going to move on to the next level because these ladies have a lot they still need to tell us.
I'd love to do that.
That would be great. Thank you. And my name is Tracy Martins. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of YQG and Bloom. I look forward to seeing you next week when I am talking with Kim, one of the co-owners of Windsor CrossFit, in our month of health, wellness, well-being, and well intentions. Have a great night.